Happy Thursday morning, everybody. Welcome into Morning Jocks here. Conrad Van Order alongside Damian Mitchell. It's good to be back after a handful of days off. So got to enjoy my birthday earlier this week and enjoy some time at home with my wife. So that's been nice. We've been sick the entire time, so it's definitely nice to be off work and be sick the whole time, but it's it's nice to be back. So I apologize.
You got hit with that flu bug?
Sound a little nasty. Actually, no, we somehow avoided that and just went straight to the upper respiratory infection. So
Jesus. So this is what 30 is? This is what I got to look forward to in a couple months?
Apparently so. Yeah, so being 30 is a great start to my 30s this week. But no, it's good to be back. And
good to have you back, brother.
Well, I appreciate it. It's nice to be here, and it's nice to be here on a game day of all things. Because I was telling Damian, I've been kind of out of the loop, and again, I've been in a daze for the last handful of days since I've been under the weather, and then bam, you wake up and you're like, oh yeah, there's a college football playoff game tonight. So it may not feature a team from this state, but it does feature our last beacon of hope in the Southeastern Conference in the Ole Miss Rebels, because if they were to fall tonight, that would mean 3 straight years without an SEC national champion. But if they're able to win tonight, they keep that hope alive for one final game. And just how crazy would it be? Think about this, Damian. If your Ole Miss Rebels win tonight, they will play for a national championship.
Yeah, I'm trying my best to
it's a special thing.
I'm trying my best not to make it bigger than what it is.
It's pretty big.
Exactly. But when all the adversity that we've had to endure these past couple months, this team just feels different, man. And as we get closer to kickoff, I keep going back and forth of, okay, like if we get it done, how is it going to look? Is it Trinidad Chambliss stuff? I know he's coming back, but what if the NCAA doesn't, clear his waiver, or is this just going to be the swan song? How is it going to affect him on the football field? These coaches that will be coaching, not going to be coaching, how is it going to play out? How can we keep the main thing? But I think Pete Golden, somebody that's got championship pedigree, he knows how to keep this thing rallied and get these guys rolling. But, I mean, Miami's a good football team too. But we're one game away. We're one game away of being the team of destiny.
I was about to say, it would be the first time in 64 years that Ole Miss would be competing for the right to claim a national championship. And Damian said it, though. Miami, really good team. And obviously, we've seen through the first couple of rounds of the college football playoff that when they're not making mistakes, right, i.e. Carson Beck throwing multiple interceptions in a game, they're really tough to beat. And so certainly going to be tough for Ole Miss. We know, Charlie Wise Jr. going to be there, but a couple of the staff members have now, kind of said their goodbyes to Oxford after the last round against Georgia, and they're now in Baton Rouge full-time with Lane. So it'll have a little bit of a different feel to it, but it should be, again, I think it should be a fantastic game. Really hope it's a lot like the Ole Miss and Georgia game and a lot less like the Alabama, Indiana, or Texas Tech and Oregon games, because those were some stinkers. So should be a great one tonight, but we'll kind of give you our final thoughts and we'll make our prediction for that one before we get out of here. But we'd also love to hear from you. It's not a Final Score Friday. We'll have that tomorrow as well, but it can be a Final Score Thursday as well. So we'd love to get your score predictions for Miami and Ole Miss tonight at 6:30 on ESPN. The winner advancing on to the national championship. But we'll come back to that one a little bit later on in the show because right now we do know that transfer portal there's 3 games left in the season. You got one tonight, one tomorrow, and then, of course, the national championship. And then it's portal season. It's the offseason officially for every program in FBS, and we know that the transfer portal tends to dominate that conversation. So quickly, just to kind of update you on some numbers in terms of what we're looking at right now for both Alabama and Auburn. So at last check, and I last checked this 7 minutes ago before we came on the air, so it should be accurate, but you never know. But at this point, if you're Auburn, you have had 34 players enter the transfer portal, and you've gotten 13 out of the portal. And then if you're Alabama, you've had 19 players go into the portal, and you've only gotten 5 out so far. So that's currently where you stand. So that would be 47 total, I guess, transactions, we would call it, for Auburn, and 24 for Alabama. So certainly Auburn kind of putting their roster together a little bit more quickly. Alabama picking up some steam the last couple of days. Getting Hollywood Smothers and Derek Tompkins and some of these other kind of bigger name guys that you heard right when the portal opened. Auburn obviously getting Byron Brown. That's kind of the big name atop of their portal class as of right now. But, again, I think you go and you look at a lot of these programs and, I know we're still kind of getting used to this, and I know there's a couple exceptions, like Georgia's only had 10 players go in the portal. Ole Miss has only had 2. Granted, they're still alive in the college football playoff right now. But, I mean, you just go and look at the rest of the conference. I mean, okay, Auburn has the most right now at 34, but Missouri has 23, Tennessee 21, Kentucky has 20, Texas has 21, Florida 24, LSU 27.
It's just the nature of the game.
Arkansas 29. Yeah, this is everybody, right? Because I know a lot of people, right, for Auburn, it's not a big surprise because they had a coaching change, right? And anytime that happens, you're going to have a lot of movement in the portal. We saw that with Alabama when Saban retired a couple years ago. But, I've even seen people freaking, man, there's a lot of people for Alabama dropping. And it's like, this is about what you should expect every year. It's about 20 players, give or take. And maybe there's a couple in there that have surprised you. I think there's a couple, like, kind of surprised that Austin Mack's still not in the portal. But maybe we now know why because of, an announcement that was made yesterday. So, again, it's like you were saying, Damian. You just kind of have to rewire your brain, and it happens to everybody. I mean, I was looking at, let me see if I can find it real quick. But, I was looking at Ohio State the other day, and Ohio State, as of right now, they have 4 guys that they've gotten out of the portal and 22 that have gone in, right? Like,
this is how it is. And there's over
it's everybody.
Over 3,500 players in the transfer portal right now. Like, there's a realistic chance that somebody has entered the portal and will not be playing college football next season.
Probably a lot.
Yeah, right. This is just how the game is. And, of course, we see the Brendan Sorsby making $5 million going to Texas Tech. He said he loved the facilities, but I think the dollar amount is what really got him there. But when you look at, as soon as we open this calendar to the way that it's set up, man, guys kind of have to make a decision rather quickly because this is kind of your only window unless a coaching change happens later on, which by now everybody is kind of put in place. But the names that hit the portal, I think, are what people are kind of, having some questions about. Like the Quay Russaw, James Smith situation. It's, okay, well, we know that they played a lot. But when you look at their overall impact and actually look at their numbers, it's, okay, they can be replaced. Like, everybody can be replaced. But the names, because we had seen, with Quay Russaw, he dealt with injuries too. So you've seen what Alabama's looked like with and without him while he's been at Alabama. So it doesn't really feel as big of a gut punch that he's hitting the transfer portal. It's just the name Quay Russaw hitting the portal.
Yeah, and I know there's some guys, right? Like, this is going back a few days, but I haven't been here. But, when Noah Carter hit the portal, players like that, it's, okay, yeah, that's a name that you've heard a lot and somebody that you think has a lot of potential. Keelan Keeley is maybe the perfect example of that, is a guy that you've heard for years about, oh, well, if he just continues to develop the right way, how good can he be? And we also get attached to, and I think Alabama and Auburn fans would both attest to this, is what people rated in high school. And, like a Perry Thompson, for example. Well, that's a 5-star receiver. We can't let him go. Okay, and I get that, but, like, he also hasn't been on the field for you, which means he's maybe not as good as you thought he was going to be coming. Now, again, doesn't mean he's not going to be a nice player, but I'm sorry, the kid's going to Minnesota. Like, no offense, there's a reason you're going to have to play at Minnesota. It's because maybe you're not all that. And that's okay, but we just, again, we get so attached to what potentially players could be or what we were told when they were 18 years old they would one day develop into being, and they're not that, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But no, I think that's another great point is you look around and, heck, you had Clinton Dix on social media the other night, basically saying that exact thing of, look at what did these guys contribute that y'all are freaking out about? Like, he is the head of player development or whatever his title is. He works for the football program.
He sees them every day.
And he's telling you, hey, these guys that are leaving, did you see what they did in the box? James Smith, coming into the year, thought somebody was going to contribute. Ended up being Yanze Pierre. Who's leaving and who's staying? right? Like you can clearly tell there's certain guys that they look at and go, and it might just be a situation of we're paying you X number of dollars, your production is not meeting that, and somebody else is willing to offer you that same money, then that's great. Then you can go and get it somewhere else. So, and this is everybody. This is not just an Alabama thing or not just an Auburn thing. This is just how it goes. But that is the day and age that we live in now in college football. But the big news yesterday for Alabama, obviously, if you somehow missed it, was that Ty Simpson announced he's going to go to the NFL draft. I think this is the best case scenario. This is also probably the path of least resistance in terms of if you're Alabama. I think you were maybe privately really excited that this happened or hoping that this would be the way it went, because it prevents you from having to have an awkward conversation and essentially go, all right, are we going to stick with Ty Simpson for one more year and say goodbye to Keelan Russell, or are we going to go all in on one of these young guys and, Ty, we appreciate what you did for us, but best of luck somewhere else. But now that somewhere else is going to be the NFL. So the good news for Ty is, according to his dad, he said yesterday that all of the feedback they've gotten from the NFL is that he will be a first-round selection. He said that the second round wasn't even brought up in conversations with the NFL. So we've seen how that goes for certain people before. Yeah. I will say this. I have, kind of been keeping up over the last couple of days. It seems like maybe there's a chance that Dante Moore comes back to Oregon for another year. And at that point, then you're the second quarterback probably after Mendoza. And then, I would feel a lot better about being a first-round pick. But, you just kind of wonder. And it does benefit him. This isn't a great quarterback draft. A lot of the guys that we thought, Nussmeier's not, Klubnik, Sellers came back for another year of college. Arch came back for another year of college. Like, all the guys you thought were going to be in the first round either sucked this year or are going back to college.
Yeah.
Because they sucked this year.
Yeah.
So it could kind of work out for Ty, but a lot of what I've seen the Dolphins. That seems to be a team which would be, yes, funny if he replaced Tua. But, I've seen the Dolphins, the Steelers. Those are kind of the teams I've seen maybe
That's
the most. Especially if you're Steelers, right? You're probably picking around, 20, 22, something like that. Like, that'd be...
It's kind of similar to the Kenny Pickett situation where, in this point, say if Aaron Rodgers does play another year, you're not forcing Ty Simpson out there.
No, that's probably a good thing because he's, I mean, it's... I know there's other guys like this, but, I just, whenever I think of this, I always go back to, like, a Ryan Tannehill or something. And I know that he had to, like, change positions and things like that, but the reality for Ty is, as good as he was at times this year, the dude's played, 14 games of football?
Right.
Like, that's it.
That's all you got.
It's probably not the worst idea if you have to go and sit in the NFL for a little bit and learn, and especially from Aaron Rodgers, who, again, according to Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers was nothing but gracious to him and very helpful to him in his development in Green Bay, which, I'll be honest, was kind of surprising to me. But
right, he spent more time with him than I have.
But I'm, just to say that if Ty went to the Steelers, maybe it wouldn't be. Yeah. There wouldn't be animosity. It would be a friendly thing and like, hey, yeah, one more year and then it's
right. I'm not coming off of MVP Aaron Rodgers.
Correct.
It's, man, I'm 42 years old.
I'm coming off of the Ravens missed a field goal Aaron Rodgers.
Right. Yeah. Hey, man, I only got a couple more games left in me. You got it, young buck.
Yeah. So that was the big news though for Alabama yesterday. Ty Simpson will move on, and I think a lot of people were ready for that based on just conversations I had with people. I will just say this. I was told by multiple people this year in Tuscaloosa in the press box by people that cover the program. I was told multiple times that it was going to be Keelan Russell. Like, there's just certain things. There's certain players that have they have the it factor, and it's like, yeah.
We appreciate everything you've done for us. He's a captain.
And it's nothing against Ty. It wouldn't have been anything against Ty. It's just
he's ready.
I mean, if you got a Ferrari in the garage, you gotta take it out for a spin. And also, let's be honest, right? If you're Kalen DeBoer, you're going into a pretty critical third year. A lot of expectations, a lot of pressure. People are gonna say you're on the hot seat, and this is kind of your first chance to go with your guy that you recruited and is kind of your vision. And we'll see if it works out or not. But that's kind of where things sit right now for Alabama and Auburn in the portal. and Alabama's quarterback situation. But we'll see. Maybe Austin Mack sticks around, and he's got a few more days to make his decision, and maybe we have a quarterback battle. But it's also possible that him or maybe Russell leaves, right? And then that's kind of the guy. But I think certainly right now, looks like it's going to be Keelan Russell's season next year for Alabama. But we've got a long time to wait until then. But we have a lot left to get to. We got some SEC hoops going on last night. Alabama and Vanderbilt. A great game last night if you're maybe the team based in Nashville, but it was exciting nonetheless. We also have more college football playoff coverage to bring you and some other transfer portal news outside of Alabama and Auburn. Some of the big names. What is the buzz around the transfer portal? We got all that for you next here on JOX. Welcome back into Morning Jocks here on your Thursday. Conrad and Damian here with you. It's a final score Thursday as we have Ole Miss and Miami doing battle tonight with a trip to the national championship game on the line, 6:30 ESPN. We'd love to hear from you, 205-834-9450 on the courtesy GMC text line, and get your final score predictions. Me and Damian will bring you ours here in just a little bit. But before we look ahead to the college football playoff, we have to take a quick look back last night with some SEC hoops going on. So you had another exciting finish, not quite on par with what you got in the Auburn Texas A&M game a couple of nights ago, but certainly an exciting game nonetheless. So Vanderbilt, one of 6 undefeated teams left in Division I college basketball, going into the game last night at 14-0. Alabama 11-3 going in, and both teams taking care of their SEC openers without too much trouble there. And you knew going in, Vanderbilt was going to be really tough, but I think we all looked at the schedule and went, okay, but who have you played? Obviously, that's what Nate Oates did, because you heard Nate Oates say, yeah, I mean, they haven't really played any good teams, but, you know, they've won their games, but very clearly, you know, letting people know, like, hey, we've played a real schedule. Vanderbilt, maybe not so much, but it's cute that they've won all their games. Well, they clearly took that personally last night, because they got the win 96-90 over Alabama. So Vandy stays undefeated. They're now 15-0, likely to be a top 10 team next week when the next edition of the rankings come out. Just really, really remarkable performance from them last night. So they jumped out on Alabama early and got out to a nice sizable lead. Then Alabama battles back. They tied up 43-43 at halftime. The first half of this game alone was fantastic, just going back and forth and back and forth. And then the second half, things were kind of able to stay even for the first, I guess 10 minutes or so the second half. Then Vanderbilt really started to separate. And really it was about the final 9 minutes or so of the game is kind of where Vanderbilt really took over and dominated. And you give credit because Alabama, they were able to make it interesting late and hit some big shots. But it just felt like every time, they needed like 1-3 to make it like maybe a 3 or 4 point game late. They just came up a little short in those opportunities. But they did enough to kind of hang around, make it like a 6 point game late, do some, it kind of became a ref show late. You had 88 free throws.
Oh my gosh.
In this game last night. And I mean, honestly, Vanderbilt, they missed 15. Like it could have been.
Yeah, they shot 50.
It could have been worse. Yeah, they shot 50.
They shot 50.
Alabama shot 38. But yeah, it was not great. But the reality is you shot 22% from the 3-point line.
Yep.
You went 9 for 40 from the 3-point line. And obviously, I mean, if you shoot 30%, you win the game. So
right. And that's the thing about Alabama. And we've seen it now pretty much essentially since Nate Oates has been there. When they're hot, when they're cold from three, it can be a tough watch. But to think that you went 9 for 40 from three and still only lost the game by 6.
Yep.
I don't know I don't know what else they could really do. But shout out to Vanderbilt though. I mean, to your point, it's almost when Alabama needed a stop, they wouldn't able to get it because Vanderbilt, they were attacking. Like they made the game. I know Alabama plays at the pace that they do, but Vanderbilt was really kind of setting the tempo of how that game was going to be played.
Mm-hmm.
Like they made no bones about it of, hey, we're going to try to get to the rim. Now, if we have a 3-point shot, we're going to take it, but their mode of attack on offense was, I mean, it was trying to feed it to the bigs. And if the bigs if they ended up getting doubled or anything, they didn't mind kicking it out. Like the ball never really got settled on just one person. And like Vanderbilt with their balls, I mean, the way that they were just throwing the ball around, and I mean, they were creating turnovers even off the inbounds. Like it was a fast-paced game and one of the better games that we had seen, even with Texas Tech and Auburn. The past 2 nights with teams here in the state, even though they lost, have been great games. Mm-hmm. So it kind of just lets you know the SEC, it's still the teams may look a little bit different, but everybody's kind of right there within a puncher's chance of, hey, if this thing continues out to March, we're going to have some exciting basketball here in the conference.
Yeah, I think you've got right now a collection of some you have a number of really good teams. I don't know if you have that. I don't think you have a team like last year where, I mean, like Florida, Auburn, right? Like those dominant kind of teams in the SEC. I don't know if we have that this year, but it looks like right now, I mean, it'd be hard to say Vanderbilt's not the best team in the conference. They knocked off Alabama. They're undefeated on the season so far, and there's a long way to go, but certainly a nice early conference win there for Vanderbilt over Alabama, 96-90. LeBaron Philon, he was out for a good chunk of the second half. Nate Oates said it was cramps. Seemed a little irritated about it afterwards, like, only played 19 minutes. Yeah, how you get cramps, but
you're not wrong. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I get he also hasn't been out there. Like he's kind of missed some time recently, so maybe it's just I don't know. I would imagine there's going to be some running on the schedule this week, though, some conditioning there. But yeah, tough loss there for Alabama against Vanderbilt. But congratulations to the Commodores. They is a little bit of a get back for football season. Maybe we'll look at it that way. So now Alabama, they will get ready to face on Saturday. They will host Texas at 7:00 on ESPN. That'll be the next game up for the Tide in SEC play. Let's get to some of your comments, because I know some of you have been on hold, wanted to talk transfer portal and some college football playoff stuff. So we'll get back to the football conversation. Let's go to Don real quick here as he wants to chime in this morning. How are we doing, Don?
Hey, good morning, Conrad and Damien. And Conrad, welcome back. Sorry you're not feeling well, though, and I know you had a good birthday Monday. Sorry you were sick on your birthday, though.
Oh, it's all right. It happens. I guess that's what it's like being 30.
I hear you, buddy. And Damien, you're getting ready to turn 30 in a month or two?
April.
April? Okay, well, good. Good, okay. Well, guys, on the transfer portal, Conrad, are you happy so far about what Alabama's getting? Y'all, you got one of the better running backs in Smothers and got a great defensive lineman. So how you feeling about Alabama's transfers?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly work to do, but yeah, I mean, you needed a running back, and he was one of the best, if not the best, available in the portal. So I thought that was a good get. The Tompkins kid from USC looks really, really good. I like the offensive lineman from Michigan. I've heard really, really good things about him and him being a teammate of Michael Carroll's in high school. So, yeah, I mean, again, it's not a lot of names so far, but I think what they've gotten out are, guys that you look at as probably starters for next year. So I like that.
Well, good deal. Well, on Auburn, a lot of people don't realize that. I know we're getting a bunch of South Florida players. Now, I only think about 2 or 3 will start, and basically they'll be good for depth. But the kid, besides Brown, the quarterback, we all know how good he can be. He could be, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what if he's going to put up those numbers in the SEC or not. That's yet to be determined. But that Nimrod kid that we got, the wide receiver,
yeah, Chaz Nimrod,
a little bit underrated. Yeah, he's a little bit underrated. He only played and he got hurt halfway through the season, but he was one of their big play guys. In 6 games, he had close to 500 yards receiving.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's just funny. I'm looking at the portal list right now, and y'all have 13 guys, and I think 10 of them are from USA. I mean, not that that's a bad thing, but yeah, that's just the way that it's been. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I got a question about that. On my site, my Auburn 247 site, it's saying 12, not 13.
I'm sure some of them just have, I guess the way that their database updates things, or, I don't know. It's the same reason that I guess when you look at 247 and On3, they have different recruiting rankings and stuff. They just
right now. Okay, my one more question. I know you guys need to go on. What is on the dates for next week? Do they have to be signed by the time that Auburn's drop ad day is January 13th? Do they have to be signed by then to be eligible for the spring, or does it last the whole entire week?
That's a good question. I'm assuming it's I would assume at any point before the spring you would be okay. I don't think it's just in that couple of day period. Are you just talking about the transfer portal in general?
Yeah, I'm talking about now. You can sign the rest of the year, but
yeah.
I was wondering I think you have to sign by the end of next week to be eligible to participate in spring.
Yeah, I will look into that. I'm not totally sure about that, but I would imagine that. Let's see, because the portal closes on the 16th. So I mean, I would think that as long as you're in there at that point, I would think if they get you out in February, you could participate in spring ball.
yeah. Well, a lot of people are getting confused about that on my Auburn board. Everything worrying about that, but next week is just the deadline to be in the portal. You can sign the rest of the year. Okay.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people are getting confused about that. But anyway, guys, thank you for taking my call as always, and both of you guys, we need to get back you both back up to Social Taco. Tuesday was insane. Bama Hater had everybody in there going nuts. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I heard, Don. We appreciate you calling in, and yeah, they always have a good time on Tuesdays up there at Social Taco. But we've got to get back to the college football playoff conversation because we've got a game coming up in 12 hours from now. We will have kickoff between Miami and Ole Miss with a trip to the national championship game on the line. Does Damian like his Rebels to get the job done tonight and advance to the national championship game? We'll share our picks next, right here on Morning Jocks. 12 hours from now, we will be watching the third to last college football game of the season, as sad as that is to say. 3 more left to go, the 2 semis, and then, of course, the national championship to wrap it up. Will the Ole Miss Rebels be playing for a national championship representing the proud Southeastern Conference, or are we going to let the ACC, they didn't even get their conference champion in the playoff, Damian, and you're going to let them get into the national championship? Your Ole Miss Rebels are going to let that happen?
Listen, there are many things that I worry about in this ball game, but one of them is not the result of the ball game. We got this, dog. We got this. We got the whole conference on our back. We have done the unthinkable because, one, I tried to explain to people that we let Georgia slip away the first time we played them. And I had a feeling going into the Sugar Bowl that we was going to get that get back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there were plays in that game that you just can't – you just never account for. Georgia would have everything covered up, but the ultimate equalizer was that quarterback we got in Trinidad Chambliss. He is a champion. He's already won a national championship. He has the championship pedigree. He knows what's at stake. The moment's not too big for him. But Miami's a different animal. They're feeling good. They're physical. Mario Cristobal has really got this team. The team identity resembles that of Mario Cristobal. They are physical. They are tough. They are violent. They are reckless. But they also have Carson Beck as their quarterback. And he's played in a lot of big games. He's also not looked as great in a lot of these big games. But something's got to give. Something's got to give. I'll save my pick, but I think a lot of people know exactly where I'm leaning.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a big surprise to anybody there. But I'm fascinated in this game, and the thing that fascinates me with Miami is you were talking about Carson Beck, and going into the postseason, it was all right. Well, if he doesn't mess up, then they can have a lot of success, and that's really what you've seen the first 2 games. And I think again, I guess for me, if you had told me, well, Miami's going to go and beat Ohio State by 10 points, I would have thought, oh, well, then Carson Beck went out there and threw for 300 and 3 touchdowns and was incredible. And you go and you look at what he's done in the first 2 games of the playoffs, and he's averaging about 120 passing yards a game. Like, that's it. Like, he's really not having to do a lot, but he hasn't thrown an interception, right? He's got 1 touchdown in both of their first 2 games. He's averaging about 120 yards. So he's doing the I don't always like using this, but basically the game manager thing, right? Like, he's going out there, he's not putting the ball in harm's way, and a lot of it is he's letting Mark Fletcher and the running game kind of do their thing and take a lot of the pressure off of him. And so that's my thing for Ole Miss is, can you find a way to really impede on that run game? And almost at this point, like, I would challenge it and be, all right, if we're going to lose this game, I'm going to need Carson Beck to go out there and do something that he hasn't had to do the first 2 times out in the college football playoff. Because, again, you go back to the games they lost this year and against teams that, I think we all agree Miami's better than Louisville, right? Like, you just watch them play and you go, well, Miami's a much better team. Well, when you throw, 4 interceptions in a game like that, and that would be my thing for Ole Miss, right? Can you get him to make a mistake? Can you, 1, force him to beat you? And then if you get it to that point, can you then capitalize and get a couple of turnovers? Because that's really been the Achilles heel for Miami. And I think we all know, look, offensively, I am a little fascinated, but I think even though it was against Tulane, just watching how it doesn't really feel like there's been a lot of a drop-off for Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin, a lot of those guys leaving. And I know I know you've got your wide receivers coaches out. I think the running backs coaches out. Some other offensive guys are done now, and they're at LSU. But I just kind of feel like they're going to find a way to make it work. And a big part of that is I feel like last game was probably the best game that Trinidad Chambliss has played all season. And now you have that confidence going forward. And on top of that, right, the team's just they seem to be a very unified group after what happened with them. And like they kind of just want to stick it to Lane a little bit.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. When I look at this ball game, Ole Miss, if I'm Pete Golden, I am telling my defense, we are absolutely selling out to stop the run. If Carson Beck has improved, if Carson Beck is the guy that a lot of people expect him to be, he's going to have to prove it. He is going to we are going to force him to win or lose this ball game for Miami. We're going to put them in situations. If you get them in third and long, even ramp up some more pressure on them. Like, we are going, in my brain, I'm thinking we are going to sell out to stop the run. Mark Fletcher Jr., if he is going to run for 100, he's going to have to get it at 30, 35 carries. He is going to have to earn every single yard that he's going to be. I mean, load the box. Make them prove to us that Carson Beck can beat us through the air. That is 100% my game plan defensively. And offensively, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keywan Lacey, make sure your chin strap buckled. This may be one of the hardest earned yard games you're going to get, because we got to find a way to neutralize those edge rushers that Miami has. Because if Ruben Bain gets back there, he is going to wreck shop. There is no ands, ifs, or buts about it. He is going to wreck shop. But if we get him chasing sideline to sideline, if we're, the pace that Ole Miss offense plays at, man, something's going to have to give. And I think the explosiveness that you get from the receiving core that Ole Miss has, the big playability, and just, again, the ultimate equalizer is Trinidad Chambliss. If you can't, once he starts to get into that zone and get into that role, it's going to be hard to beat us. And I think that because of the suddenness that Ole Miss offensive identity possesses, it's not one of those things where they have to sustain drives. Mm-hmm. It can be one play, boom, you look up, you're down 7-0. And what is Miami going to do to respond? Don't be afraid to get hit in the mouth. I think for Ole Miss, you're playing with house money at this point. Listen, nobody expected us to really be in this position after Lane left, and look at us now. We looked Georgia dead in the face, made Kirby Smart kind of get out of his own element. See if we can do the same thing to Mario Cristobal in that offense. So I think I'm picking Ole Miss to win a close one. I think Ole Miss gets it done 28-24.
Okay, 28-24. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a really, really close game. I could see it coming down to, I hope it comes down to, whoever has the ball last, right? They have an opportunity to go and win, and that's kind of how you get it done. And I just go back to, and I know first off, Ruben Bain's better than, he might be the best defensive player in the country. But I just go back to Georgia, right? And, I know a big deal of that game was, well, they just weren't able to sack Trinidad Chambliss. And it's, they had opportunities to, or they had him running for his life, especially in the second half. It didn't matter, right? Like, he was able to avoid that, and he was able to get just enough time to, admittedly, throw the ball up a couple times, but it worked out, right? And so I guess that's where I go of, okay, well, Miami's best player, is that something that can cause more problems for Trinidad Chambliss and Ole Miss than Georgia did? It may be so, but again, I just go back and I'm like, man, if he's running for his life like that, it doesn't matter how good your pass rush is, right? Like, that can kind of neutralize that there. And so I think, again, man, Ole Miss it just feels like, it's almost like the team of destiny thing, right? Like, it feels like right now they are just such a unified front. They're playing at such a high level on the defensive side of the ball. You kind of slayed that dragon against Georgia, and where you had an opportunity to kind of just lay down in the fourth quarter and let them roll over you and do what everybody thought Georgia was going to do, but you didn't. And that level of physicality, it's just different for Ole Miss. So I think it's going to be a great one. Like you, I think it's going to be a close game. I'm also going to take Ole Miss. So they're a 3.5-point favorite right now. I think I'm not going to be surprised at all if Miami wins this game. But I'll take Ole Miss 31-28. I think it's a little more high scoring. And I do. I think it's a game that comes down to the very end of the fourth quarter. And
so you do believe in Pete Gold?
And a fantastic game. I think he's got 2 playoff wins. He's got as many as Kalen DeBoer.
So you said it out loud. Yeah, that is true.
It's crazy to think about, but
that is true. Wow.
Yeah, it's that's the world that we live in there. But yeah, so me and Damien, we're both taking the Ole Miss Rebels in a close one tonight. We'd again love to hear from you. 205-834-9450, your final score predictions, or just your pick, who you think is going to play for a national championship, because there's certainly a lot on the line tonight when those two teams will face off. But we have your texts coming in. Some of you chiming in on Ty Simpson, some of you chiming in on the transfer portal, other things going on around the world of college football. So we will get to your thoughts on the courtesy GMC text line, as well as give you the latest portal buzz. That's next here on JOX. Final few moments here on the Thursday edition of Morning Jocks. Conrad and Damian with you. Gonna hand you off to McElroy and Kubelik in the morning as they will continue the college football playoff preview for tonight and keep you up to date on everything going on in the transfer portal. Again, one more week, well, 8 days, I guess, until the portal closes. So you have until next